Happy Friday! Hope you're doing well, everyone. Welcome to the season finale of Coffee with Staci. I am your host, Staci, and we are streaming live here on Facebook and on YouTube. So, hope you have your coffee ready and comfy seat, and you're ready to participate in a really exciting chat with one of my culinary school friends. He is a chef and one part of a music dynamic duo, Chi Chi and Brock St. James. So while we wait for them to stream on in, I want to see how you're doing. How's it going? How's your week going? Last day of school today here in California, Los Angeles. For my daughter, I'm extremely elated to not have to sit on Zoom for, 6, 7 hours a day. So I'm really excited to kind of be able to take a break from distance learning and kind of, just get some things done around the house, finish up some projects that I have want to get finished before the end of the year and prep for 2021. If you don't know me, this is your first time seeing me, your first time tuning in. I am a chef by trade. When the pandemic started, I decided to use my platform for more than sharing cat memes and funny videos. I wanted to take a pause and kind of get to know and have some really interesting, insightful chats with people that are in my Facebook friends list. And, when the pandemic is over, my plan is to take it outside and to go into the world and meet really interesting people and introduce you to them and just have some really exciting conversations about things that are interesting to me and hopefully to you. So today we are going to talk about creativity and how to find yours, how to live a life with passion. A lot of people I've met don't really consider themselves to be creatively talented, and so I just wanted to bring on Chi Chi and Brock because they are beautiful musicians. The songs that they write are they're hype, they're energetic, but they're also kind of soulful. And so you'll get to find out how they live their lives from a creative perspective. Alrighty, so let's get started because I don't want to hold them. I know they're busy people. Looks like they left. Okay. I'll wait for them to come back. Okay, at any rate, so last day of school today. My daughter got all A's, just in case you were wondering. She's an honor roll student, has been for pretty much her entire career thus far. She's in the 11th grade. The beauty of distance learning was that I was able to spend time with her in her classroom, in her, in her setting. Well, first of all, I was able to spend time with her um, all day because I realized in all of this that like she would leave home at 6 a.m. and I wouldn't see her until 4 o'clock in the afternoon every day. So it was really wonderful to spend time with her. And got to go to fashion class, learned how to sew a button. Yes, I did. And also learned how to make some really cool things like handbags and masks and garments. I'm not saying that I'm going to be a designer. She might want to be a designer when she grows up. Who knows? But it was really interesting to be a student again along with my daughter. At any rate, let's bring them in. Start talking.
Hello.
Hi.
Wait, let me get this off the screen.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
You
There
guys
we go.
look great.
We basically live in the mountains, so there may be some reception slowdown problems.
That's
But
okay.
it's wonderful to see you. Haven't seen you since school, and
Since school, right?
it's great to see your beautiful smiling face and everything. Hello.
Thank you so much.
Hi.
Hi, Roslyn. So you can introduce us because we've never met. Brock, go ahead.
Hello. I am
Hi.
Chi Chi, also known as Roslyn Teray, his other half
Yes.
in music and life and everything.
Yes, that is so beautiful. So let me tell you a quick story about culinary school. There were days that I would come to school and I would hear this, Chi Chi said, like loud always, right? And I'm like, that's really cool. But then I would have the opportunity to like sit in the hallways and listen to him talking to other young men like himself. talking about you, and that he spoke of you with such love and adoration. I just thought, wow, she is like the most fortunate woman in the world. I mean, like, you were like the queen of his life. Like, it was just everything. Yes,
Oh,
I
that's
just
so
thought,
awesome to
yeah,
hear.
yes,
I
I
mean,
just thought,
that's actually how he treats me. He
yeah,
treats me that way. But
I
it's
imagined
really
it.
great to hear that other people, that he shares that with other people. That's awesome.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so introduce yourselves. I don't, however you want to do
Yes,
it.
definitely. Well, we'd like to introduce ourselves. We are Chi Chi and Brock St. James. And that's our superhero names at night. Our daytime names, I won't say it here, but she is an English teacher by day, chef by day, but Chi Chi and Brock St. James.
Yeah, my teaching name, Miss Teray. I'm Roslyn Teray, which is also my acting stage name as well. So you'll see us use Chi Chi and Roslyn Teray. Like you said, we are superheroes by night, making music, changing the world. By day, he's a chef. I'm an English teacher. And we change the world with food and education too.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's just talk real quick about culinary school. So that's where we met. How did you get there? Like, what was your journey to go to wanting to be a chef?
I've always worked in restaurants, and I started out at Roscoe's as a busboy, and just literally worked my way up to one day a server didn't want to serve a table, and I went to the owners and said, "Can I take this table, my first table?" And they said, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And from that day forward, because she didn't want to take the table, I took over basically her whole section and worked my way up through all the restaurants I've worked at, management and everything. And I said, I've basically tapped out on all those positions, bartender, managing. And I said I needed something new. I always loved cooking. My older brother taught me how to cook growing up. My grandfather used to close the kitchen door when he'd cook dinner and wouldn't let anybody in. So my interest was just piqued. And so we always cooked. And my brother started teaching me at 8 years old. And it's always been a passion of mine. And I cooked for the family since
Mm-hmm.
young. At 12 years old, I cooked for our family of five. And so it was a lifelong journey to want to go to culinary school. But the funny story about that is I actually set an appointment for FIDM, and FIDM put the appointment 2 weeks away.
Mm-hmm.
I called Le Cordon Bleu, and they set it for the next day. And that's good old Le Cordon Bleu. And
Exactly.
so I went in there, and I was like, I've always wanted to cook. The school was cool. It fit our pirate nature, and just the whole restaurant nature. FIDM was a little bit brand new for me to figure out what was going to happen in 2 weeks and not take this opportunity. And Le Cordon Bleu makes a good sales pitch for people that love to cook anyways, because
Absolutely.
you're going to do it for 2 years and it's something you love to do. And I made wonderful friends in my career at Le Cordon Bleu and in the Alumni Association after I graduated.
Absolutely. Now, what were you going to fit them for?
I always loved to be a part of fashion. At 6 years old, I was a print model for Disney. And the magazines where you're like, "Mom, I want this magazine," and they fill out the form. Yeah, I was the chubby little kid smiling in those, and so I always had, the look for passion. For fashion, I always had to pay attention to it, and so that's what started it.
All right, Miss Roslyn. Oh, should I call you Chi Chi or Roslyn? Which one would you
Chi
prefer?
works today because we're
Perfect.
together, Chi and
That's
Brock
right.
St. James.
Absolutely. Okay, so as an educator, and then a wonderful actress, I saw your monologue of Harriet Tubman. Was that what that was?
Oh, yeah.
So that was like my first introduction to actually seeing you, and I thought she's like Meryl Streep. It was just phenomenal.
That's my favorite actress.
Yes,
That's like she embodies the way that I love to work, the way that she gets into the characters. The thing that she uses to get into character is her dialect, her costume, and that's how I work too. It's so funny that you said that because that means a lot to me. She's my favorite.
Actually, in one of our songs, she says, "I'm the Black Meryl Streep," and you just don't know it yet.
Absolutely. I believe
Definitely,
it.
that's awesome.
Absolutely. So let's talk about in education. How important is creativity for learning?
Well, one of the things that I find students love about my class is they say that I'm fun, that I'm creative, that whenever we have our lessons, there's a little bit of theater in it always because I am who I am. One of my kids actually gave me a really good compliment, and he said that I reminded him of Peter Pan because he felt like I was his age, and he connected with me because of that. And I think that comes a lot from my creativity, from me just kind of being a child at heart, using my imagination and my creative nature that are assets as an actor and a musician in the classroom. I bring music into the classroom a lot. I try to incorporate arts into the classroom whenever possible. I actually teach at a school that is a STEAM school. So it's science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. And I'm a big part of making sure our 8th graders have that arts part of it. And they really love class. They say it's fun because I'm fun. And that's just because of the creativity that comes out.
Absolutely. Now, I really wanted to know is because we get that in school. That's where it's born. But what happens to us as we grow older? Why do we sometimes veer away from that?
I think it's because we become too busy or we forget to play,
Yeah.
to use our imagination, to daydream. When we were younger, we imagined and we played all different kinds of things all the time. But as we get older, it just kind of leaves us, and you have to make a point to use that imagination. As a teacher, I get to use it all the time because I put it in my lessons, I put it in school. As an actor, I get to use my imagination when I'm creating a character, but not every person is a performer. And so then you have to find out what is your passion to spark that imagination. And that's simply, our teachers asked us when we were in school, where do you see yourself in 10 years? And that's something that we would imagine, something that we would think about. And as adults, we just don't use our imagination as much as we used to. And I think that's the key to being creative, is that we have to use our imagination.
Absolutely. Now, tell me about your music career. How did it start?
Ooh.
It's funny.
Out of necessity, you say.
Yeah. We had an open mic show for poets, musicians, actors, and we needed music for the show. And so we just started making music for the show together. And that's really how Chi Chi and Brock St. James was born.
We scoured the world. We scoured the earth for any artist to make a song, and it just wouldn't work. And so we said we have to open this show, and it introduced us basically as Chi Chi and Brock St. James. And that was our coming out to the world at our open mic show. And it's been amazing. Since then, we've done plays and just so many different showcases. It's been an amazing journey. Wow.
Yeah, it's actually, we both started out as actors together doing the open mic show, but both of us had already dabbled in music. And so when we had the necessity to come up with a song, it was great. And we were like, hey, this is fun. So then we just kept doing it. And here we are years later, making hits, making music together.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Absolutely. And I don't know like the technical terms for the parts of the songs, but there's like parts you guys have those, you have lyrics that are sticky, if that makes any sense. Like
The hook.
the hook. You guys make the best hooks. It's like,
Definitely,
oh my God.
just in case it froze on our end.
But, no, I said, yeah.
There we go.
No, I said you guys make the best hooks.
Thank you.
Period. Absolutely.
It also comes down to the fact she's a writer. We're working on many stories right now. We have basically a music art book that we're working on, but she's doing a graphic novel. We've written scripts together, and I have poems. I used to write poetry growing up since 11th grade detention.
Our first date was actually he read one of his poems at a poetry reading. And the poem was about a woman. He had written it years ago, but he said that he had actually written it for me, and he realized that he wrote it for me, and he performed this poem, and it was awesome. It was the best first date ever.
And the host helped me out because the poem thought sometimes it's just too much, and the host in front of the whole audience kept going with it after I was finished. He was like, sometimes it's just too much. And so with him just keeping it going, I was like, man, you are hooking me up, bro. You think you're hating, but you're helping me more than you know.
And then as we were leaving, everybody was like, "Oh, that's the girl. That's the girl he was talking about." So that was cool.
I was like, yeah, she mine. She mine. I got her. That's right.
Can I ask you guys about the the critique show that you guys did?
Oh yes.
First of all, I have
Uh,
to say, you guys,
Oh,
yes. First of all, I have to
yes.
say, you guys handled that really well, so well. And the way that you flipped it around was fantastic. And then people were like singing your song all over the world. It's like,
Yeah.
can you please tell the people what happened and how you turned it
definitely.
around?
Go for it.
Well, the main thing is I've been watching these review shows for a while, so I knew that they were looking for only a certain type. So we had planned for it. We knew we were going to record it. We knew we were going to use it for some way, and it was just to test the world to see what was going on. And I seen how he just dogged people, so I kind of knew that was going to happen. But interesting thing after that, he found me on a different post and commented on to it, saying, "Oh, thanks for helping blow me up." I said, "They don't even know your name, but you know mine now, so thank you." And just to keep it cool, bro, I told him, I said, "You know what? When you learn how to network, I'm still going to be here to work with you down the road." And so that shut him up. And once he grows up a little bit, understand it's about building bridges.
Right.
And we were both raised in a village style community. And so that's why I'm so, gregarious. She's outgoing a teacher is because of that necessity to build bridges and not burn them. And so with that, we just knew we were going to use it. There was another guy that did the same thing for our song Ain't Going Nowhere. Yeah. And I was like, he was dogging. I was like, of course you don't want to hear a love song, rap type of song. First of all, I'm not a rapper. She's not a rapper.
Right.
But we are better than you and a lot of people you know. So I'm going to keep doing this thing right here. I was like, this chose me.
How would you define your music? Like if someone said, "Oh, what kind of music do you make?" How would you describe your music?
Well, if we actually searched a long time because we didn't really fit into a box. There wasn't a label that you could really put on us. And we were actually talking to a friend that said, "You know what? You guys are very avant-garde."
Mm-hmm.
And we looked it up and we were like, that's us.
Mm-hmm.
And what we found out is that we are new before it's new. Like one of the things that I love to compare it to is sometime in the future you may have heard of a group that like changes the world or their music affects society. And I feel that's like what we're doing, what we're creating is that because everything that we do comes from either that place of arts or education or food or family or passion. Yeah. Everything we do is really to change the world. And I know that seems kind of cliche to say because people ask, why do you do the things that you do? And it's really so that we can affect the world in a great way. One of the songs that we recently released was Walk in My Shoes. And it was really our response to what was going on in the world since March. And that's what we feel is that whenever we release a song or a poem or a play or a performance, that it's going to touch someone in a way that will change or affect their lives. Because everything comes from a passion, from the heart. Every song, every lyric is because of something that we were going through right at that moment. And we know that if we share ourselves with the world, that it can definitely affect something that's going on with them.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And so how does the typical, normal, average, whatever word you want to use, person, how can they tap into that part of themselves? If they wanted to find something to be passionate about, how can they find that? A lot of people are really afraid to even search, or they don't even know what to do. So where do they go? Like, what do they?
Well, when I was at Le Cordon Bleu, I would tell the chefs or the students graduating while I was in the alumni association, and I started mentoring chefs. I would tell them, go to the store and buy one new item. And it doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be something that's going to change your life or something right now. Just buy something new and experiment with it. And that right there goes back to what you're saying about imagination, creating something stimulates something in you, and you can just say, oh, I don't like this, or you don't like this, but how do you know you don't unless you try it? And so that was one of the things we did, and that's how we did it with our music, how we did it with the script, how we did it with everything. Is sometimes you have to say, Geronimo, you have to jump off the bridge and do it. And I'm gonna be honest, I promised her I was gonna make her a millionaire, so I have to do everything. I have to pay attention to everything. I have to put ourselves out at everything, but I have to do it with restraint. I have to make sure that it's safe, that it's for the long haul, that my family's not in detriment. And so that's where a lot of it comes from, or where you can start building it up.
I think also finding that passion, that creativity, like you said, sometimes that's hard for people. And one of the things is time. We just don't feel like we have time to dedicate to something new. So something that we actually started doing as a family is taking 15 minutes a day to do something that you want to do that is outside of everything else that you do. Maybe you want to read a book. Maybe you don't watch a lot of TV and you want to watch TV for 15 minutes. Maybe you want to just spend some time cleaning out your car. Whatever you can do for 15 minutes that takes you out of your regular day helps you start to thinking outside the box. And as a teacher, I'm going to say that everybody should be reading every day something for fun.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the things that we used to do as kids that helped our imagination that we don't do as adults. We don't read enough. You have to find something that you want to read, and not the newspaper. That doesn't count. You want to find a story, something that
you get lost in.
Yes, something that takes you away from the world.
And then too, I just thought about. I see a lot of your posts where you guys are like in the studio. A lot of people are afraid to take that. To them, that would be like a leap of faith. How do you do that and not be, or if you are afraid, like how do you get yourself to that point? My dream is I want to be a singer, right? The natural progression, not me because I can't sing, but the natural progression will be, okay, write music and then record it so someone can hear it. How do you get to that point? Like if you're afraid, how do you get over that? To get to that point. That's the dedication, that's where the dedication is. It's like, you talk about it, that's doing it.
You do have to have a push. And we have a lot of exterior situations that push us. And even back at school, when I did a bad dish and I sat under the table tearing up and everything. And the chef came up and said, how long have you been in school? And I said, a week. And he said, well, take it easy on yourself. And so that started it. And then Drea, my girl, got under the table with me and sat there with me while I got my stuff together. And that was the start of things that started turning me around. And then Joe, he was always there for me whenever I was about to lose it or anything. And Joe was always there right on the side of me to be like, hey, man, it's okay. Just relax, man. Just relax. Or the levity of burning my hand on something, be like, yeah, it's hot. And those things, my mom's helped out. My dad is always saying, catch the dreamer, catch the dream. There's just so much inspiration around me that I can't, allow myself to not be seen in that light. And one other thing that is really, have to say deep is about a year and a half ago, or about 2 years ago, I started looking for some kind of somebody to talk to. And I ended up coming across a guy and he said, you know what you're looking for is not me. But if you can't find somebody, come back to me. He's a life coach that did family therapy. And so I was like, I looked around for somebody, and then I eventually went back to him, and he said, why are you here? I said, because the whole world is crazy, and I want to make sure that I'm not going in that way. And that got us prepared for COVID. It got us prepared for a loss in the family. We lost a loved one in the house in July. And these type of things, and getting him ahead of time. Also, I say, don't wait for a year to do something you say you want to do. Start it now, even if it's little. Like for my food company, I didn't have a lot of avenues to get it out there, but I got the LLC. Then other things started steamrolling around it. So now somebody comes up to you and says, I have $10,000. They at least seen the steps I was taking. It may not come to fruition for other things, but I refuse to let myself really just sit in that visual. And it's been a lot of uphill things. We had a lot of things we had to battle through, like being not homeless, but houseless at the beginning of Le Cordon Bleu, because
Mhm.
our lease was up and other people were going to move in. So we had to move the dog, all of us, into a hotel with one car. And that's when everybody met me at Le Cordon Bleu, smiling and everything. And that's where also
Yes.
Walk in My Shoes came from. So it's an internal thing we have to build up. We have to use our resources, our village, our friends, our family, and not be scared to ask for help. Not be scared to say
Absolutely.
we're weak. We have to be
Right.
vulnerable, as I put my post up there, because so many people came up to me thanking me, even though I was still like, it's cringing to tell, my, how can I say this?
Personal or
My personal shortcomings or health things, but it does help. And I want to say kudos to you as well for sharing your journey with us as well.
Thank you. Well,
one
it's
of
important. It's
yes.
important. Go ahead.
And you were saying how, you get over the feeling of nervousness or how you jump out there. I'll let you know that before every performance, before every time we go into the studio, before every interview that we do, I always have butterflies. I'm always
Really?
nervous. I get nervous, and then when I go out on stage, the nerves, they disappear.
Mm-hmm.
So it's normal to be nervous. And some people would say if you're not nervous, then there's something wrong with that. He doesn't really get
I don't
nervous,
get nervous.
but I always have butterflies.
I was trying to be polite. I don't get nervous. Girl, if y'all need some, I'll give you some Brock juice. I don't get nervous. But it's for each person. It's circumstantial. We all have certain things that affected us from our youth, certain things that affected us from our fathers, our mothers, aunts, just different things. And so we have to find that strength. Like we do different warm-ups before shows and different things. I personally like to listen to System of a Down, Tennessee Whiskey, or
Yeah.
different things like that. I love rock, country, folk, and those things get me going. But tonight I got ready to Vince Staples, just got a little boost going. But yeah, you got to find what inspires you, what motivates you. And there's so much out there to sit around not being inspired, not finding things to do.
There's
Very
so
true.
many avenues, especially with the internet and the opportunities that are online and presented in so many ways. You really just have to take that step into whatever it is you're passionate about. But like you said, it does help to have a motivator. It does help to have somebody who's going to be there to say, hey, you should go for it. And so it's definitely something you want to share with your friends and people who are close to you, so that they can motivate you and inspire you to get to that place you want to be.
Once again, I wasn't going to do my treatment, but Joe and Drea, first Drea called me like, you better get there and do it. And then Joe called right after that. And those two thoughts were in my head. If they didn't know, they wouldn't have been able to push me to get it done when I did for the treatments I needed. So definitely that. But I have to change it up and ask you, do you have coffee?
I do. It's right here, actually.
What are you drinking?
It's regular old Folgers right today. Just the Folgers. I decided not to be a snob.
I have some really awesome coffee. He actually gave this to me for a gift. I think the first time was for Mother's Day or something like that. It is the best coffee in the world. It is from Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee. Nice. And there's actually a coffee purveyor locally in Pasadena that gets the coffee from Jamaica, and they get it to me, and it's so good.
Supporting a local business. Here we can show them supporting a local business, veteran owned.
Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee from Sailor's Brew, and we had actually watched a show about coffee years ago that talked about Jamaica Blue Mountain and how it was so great. So when he first got this for me, I was like, oh, that's the coffee that was on the show. And it really is awesome coffee. With
a nice little grinder, get the beans ground up. I love the smell of coffee. I just don't drink coffee. So I'm doing a raspberry herbal caffeine-free tea right now. But the good stuff is right here. And we've been waiting forever. And Sailor's Brew, it's a local business that we get to support and during these times, because it's tough times for everybody. And so
it is.
It's one of the great things. And this delicious coffee, I love the smell of it in the house, definitely.
Aww.
She said, Folgers, we're going to get you a bag. We got you, definitely.
I receive it.
Mhm.
Tell me about your daughter. I love seeing her streaming through my timeline, through my newsfeed. I was like, she's a little superhero. Can you just tell us about her, and also tell us about your YouTube channel?
Mhm.
Well, Guinevere Strider is a budding star. She's actually done a lot of modeling recently, and she finds that that's really fun. She's great. She's awesome. She has a really great personality that's a little bit different from her parents. We're both Libras,
Me
and she's
too.
a Scorpio.
Libra?
Libras in the
Her
house.
big sister's a Libra. My older daughter, she's a Libra. So she has nothing but Libras all around her, and a grandmother that really helps encourage her. And she does things that we didn't even teach her. She's like a brand new reincarnation of herself type of thing. It's just a great child, and really changed up the dynamic of everything for us. And that's really what helped make us take off in a different way for the YouTube. We had to change up now. Like, we had a song called Gumdrops and Lollipops. To adults singing Gumdrops and Lollipops, you know what that's insinuating. We have a 4-year-old now, and her song at 2 was called Go Outside. Run, dance, jump, and play. So we went from Gumdrops and Lollipops to Go Outside. And so that's one great thing that she's affected us with. And she was born in the car. And just a special child, just all the way through. Just, she couldn't eat so many things because that little baby was inside. Like, I don't like that. I don't like that. Just a mess. And then she started her first gig at the Disney Studios, and then it just took off with my friend Delia. She has an agency on Instagram. It's called Vibrancy Agency. She just took over and just helped us out and got Guinevere going. And you can tell them about her name and where Guinevere Strider came from.
Yes, where did that come from?
Guinevere, I was agonizing about a name, and I actually, I'm a teacher and I teach English, and so I looked through literature names, and I came across Guinevere, and I had actually had a feeling about the name Guinevere a couple of years before from a television show where a woman was named Guinevere. And I was like, oh, that's a nice name. And I never really thought about it again until it came up in the list that I was looking at. And I was like, maybe he'll like Guinevere because he loves Camelot. And so I knew that he would be down with Guinevere. So I picked the first name, Guinevere, and Daddy picked the middle name. You want to tell about
Strider?
the middle name?
I read all of the Lord of the Rings, all the big volumes of it. And I love the name Strider. And so we named her Guinevere Strider, which basically breaks down to warrior queen.
That is awesome.
And so that's what we're trying to really, and how can I say, impress upon her, because we don't want to raise her with a lot of the guilt of the world, with a lot of the, the things that we were held back, the different toxic things that was from our upbringing. And, we had a great family life, so it wasn't that bad. But now that we know better, and I'm going to be honest, I'm not a 19-year-old parent. We are a little bit older, so there is a lot more that we know that we can direct her in and do a whole lot of different things. And she's 4 years old, and we're doing first grade homework right now. And so we're teaching different things with her, and she's absorbing it all. Just a great personality. She's been in both Walk in My Shoes and the new Laker one. You can hear her doing the ghost echoes of all the Lakers underneath it. So she's been in the studio with us for all the last 7 songs. She's there while I'm writing. She's there while I'm making the beats, while mommy's doing different things. So she's getting all this. And now we put a beat on it, and she'll just start and start making lyrics up. And she actually has named a couple of songs that's coming up for us.
She did.
That's cool. That's cool. And she gets the opportunity to be just like immersed in it. She's just immersed in music and art. I love seeing her in the kitchen, her pepper in the garden. It's just awesome.
Yes,
it's awesome to see. It's awesome to see. And how did you guys, or not how, but why did you guys start the Harry Potter channel?
Oh, well, we're fans of Harry Potter, big fans of Harry Potter. I'm probably the biggest Harry Potter geek. I always have my wand with me. It's actually right here. But we just wanted something fun to do that would, again, share something else about our lives.
As a family.
As a family. And one of our YouTube channels, Potterhead Family, And the reason we just wanted to do that together again is just to share things as a family. And we really like magic. We think magic goes along with that imagination. And we really wanted to let people know that that is a part of who we are as well, is that spark, that imagination. And I think that was really born out of that.
We didn't tell the biggest thing about it. Our magic comes from us being basically a Disney family.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Every
That's
single
true.
one of us has worked for Disney, including Guinevere.
Mhm.
Heard the show
yeah.
The Fix that was on ABC was at
Yeah.
Disney Studios, which happened to be the same studio that my dad worked at while he was designing and working on the geodesic dome that's at Disney World.
His father actually designed the building that I worked in when I worked at Disney World for a summer. And I love Disney. And when I was there for the summer, I got to go to the park every day and I fell in love with it even more. And so magic has been a part of us forever. And I think Harry Potter is actually just the way that we can connect with so many other people in the world with something that they enjoy and care about too.
And to show that you're not too old to enjoy it. It's not just for 12 and 13-year-olds. You can have a 12 and 13-year-old and still enjoy it. Who's to say you age out of enjoyment? You know what I mean? So that was another thing. And like you said, it was fun to sit there and do. For me to get down in the grass when we did our videos out there, which is something I normally didn't do. So my girls got to see me, ease up a little bit and just calm down, get a little dirty, get some grass on me. And so it was a fun little venture for us as a family, definitely.
I want to know how you guys are weathering this current pandemic storm.
Well, as a teacher, it's been a very interesting experience because, now we are in virtual school. Actually, today was the last day of school.
The last day. Thank you, Jesus.
Yes. It's challenging because one of the things that makes school is the people. And not only the students, like the students miss seeing one another, they miss seeing their teachers, but I didn't realize how much I would miss the teachers. And thinking back, I actually didn't really spend that much time each day with my staff, but being away from them and not being able to see them really instilled a deep appreciation and let me know that the part of school that we're all missing are the relationships. We're still able to teach. Students can still learn. They have to apply themselves a little bit more, but a big part of school is relationships, and that's what's hard to do virtually. So that's been a challenge in the pandemic.
The other thing is you have to make sure that you reach out. Everybody wants to reach out, but we get so much going on in our heads and our minds and our lives. You have to worry about every Walmart box and how many of us don't have a big stack of them at the end of a week coming in with COVID. The mail coming in with COVID. Guinevere couldn't go to Kids Space or the zoo or a playground. So what we have to start doing is making new things happen in the house. We have to make sure that we were happy within ourselves, within our environment. And mind you, we're in a house, others are in apartments, but you still got to make it happy in here. You still have to and stop watching the news.
Yes.
Number one thing.
Stop watching the news. He said it. Stop watching.
Says it. My life coach is like, how's the news watching? I was like, I don't watch it. I don't read newspapers. If they're on Facebook, I just like and scroll on up real fast. And because a lot of our stuff we do on our page has to do with uplifting, you pretty much won't find, us battling with race, religion, politics, because we like for that our area to be a safe spot for people to come, relax, listen to music, look at some food, laugh with us, and different things like that. So it's all about levity. You have to make sure that you don't let the pandemic kill you without you actually getting sick. And we lost, like I said, a family member here. Thank you. Like I said, we lost a family member in July, but because we were working on our mentals early, we were able to adapt to it a lot faster than normal. And we grew out of it. I was able to help my mom through her stuff and different things like that. So it's definitely about preparation. And right now is not too late to prepare. you know, for tomorrow. So you could always start. And that's one thing that we did and take a lot of pride in is jumping on it. And Libras are known procrastinators. So jumping on it is a tough thing. You know.
Absolutely, absolutely. We are procrastinators, but we're also we like to uplift, empower, and encourage people.
Yes.
So that's just our that's just our nature. So that's what I
Yes.
did. Yeah, immediately.
Scales.
It's just like, it's just immediately like, okay, reaching out to people in this digital space, like, because a lot of people are very, very isolated, very lonely, and they can't leave, and they have to worry about dying and worry about all these other things. So it's just like, okay, come here, look at me, talk to me, focus here. Let's try to relieve some of that. Until,
one other thing
passes.
that did. Oh, sorry about that. One other thing that did work for us was, I mentioned her name earlier, my friend Delia. She asked us if we wanted to be a part of Deepak Chopra 21 Days of Meditation. And it was for abundance. And we did that. And every day we did it, we felt better. It made us be more grateful for things. At night, before we go to bed, we started it, but Guinevere will not let her go to bed without saying, Daddy, what are you grateful for? Mommy, what are you grateful for? And we do 3 things we're grateful for literally every night because she's 4 and trying to avoid sleep. So she's going to ask us every night. So we're grateful for that. But, it started, and my life coach said, start finding something to be grateful for and something deeper than just the shallow things. And I was like, I'm grateful for this, cup of tea. I'm grateful for this big check we just got. He said, go deeper. And so right at that time I was doing my treatment. And he said, what's something deeper about your treatment? How can you say you love your treatment? I said, because I'm getting it out my body and my babies. And I'm guaranteed that my babies won't have to worry about that in me right now. So the needles they're putting in me, the medicine, the lethargicism afterwards, everything, I welcomed it. I started smiling and everything when I was talking goofy the first night until she said, boy, lay down. You're not bringing any plants in. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. And so, but, it's just the life coach saying, just do it. And you guys.
As always, perspective is what your attitude that determines the outcome of anything, everything. You go in with a good attitude, chances are you're gonna do well in everything that you do. So what is what I don't want to say what's next, because you guys, I consider you like Renaissance people. So you're doing a lot of things. You have a lot of content in a lot of different areas. So what is on the horizon? What can we expect? I know you were working with Jazz. Hi, Jazz. I know you were working with Jazz Mom. By the way, if you guys have pets, so she sent me some cat treats for my cat. He's like, he won't leave me alone. So obviously they're delicious. So just
definitely,
that.
We'll definitely share that because we have lots of animals around us, and we cooked next to her as well, so we know she has skills. We know she's going to feed the animals well, take care of them with the best ingredients. We're Le Cordon Bleu, so it's going to have the best ingredients. We're not taking any shortcuts.
No, she didn't. And it's like the presentation is on point, the branding, the logo. I'm just sitting here looking at it like, oh my God, I love it. I love it. Yeah. So
I just seen her some orders just go out yesterday. They're amazing looking.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Probably trying to get me a bite of the little dog treat, but I'll cut it out. No, but what's coming up for us? We do have a lot of things coming up. The music stuff for sure. Speaking of Jazz, she came out and got in the studio, blessed us with 2 songs that we're going to be coming out with, and really excited. I've been waiting since I seen her perform live. What, 2 years ago, a year ago? I seen her perform live, and I was like, vibing with her, like, oh my God, I got to do a song with her, and one day I just said, you know what, it's time to do the song with her, and sat down, just immediately found the beat, started doing stuff, and wrote it out. She came out, dropped some bombs on us, and the exciting thing is we got this other group that we're working with called Love and Spaz. Love, LOVE, ampersand, SPAZZ. Yeah. I'm really happy to work with them because they are not, no offense, they're not mumble rap. They're a family like us that's doing the same thing as us, but he's a pure rapper. The both of them are pure entertainers, pure musicians. You just love it. Delivery's crisp, clear. The Love and Spaz, they got songs like Mission, Finesse that I listen to before we get our stuff going. and they dropped some stuff on it. We have some amazing songs here.
So that's the collaborations that we have are coming out very soon. And then I actually had a couple of auditions last week, so I'm still always putting myself out there. One of the cool things I tell my kids, they're like, so when you were little, did you want to be a teacher? And I said, I've always wanted to be a teacher and a movie star. And I'm still doing both of those things. So we do have some collaborations coming out in the next couple of weeks with some artists. And then we are actually still putting ourselves out there in the acting world for myself and for Guinevere as well.
That's awesome.
Well, you can't. I'm also doing a children's story book. She's doing a graphic novel. Our whole thing is actually, I'm gonna be honest with you, nobody really knows us. Everything we do is to get us to the point where she can act and I can make movies.
Right.
That's our whole end goal of everything. And it's because movies, I could spend all day on a set. I just love the whole atmosphere. When I was like 16, I went to school for TV production. I did all the camera work, editing, all that stuff, and was running adults in the studio. And could have been in CBS Studios, but I just don't like being controlled that much. So this is where we're at. But while we're doing this, I want to share with you that you will receive our first fan pack.
Our first
awesome
VIP fan package.
What?
So go ahead, you got it.
And to introduce our new logo, you might have seen it floating around. Chi-Chi and Brock St. James.
I love
our
that.
new logo.
I love that.
This will be in the gift pack. We have magnets for you. We have Chi-Chi and Brock St. James face masks.
Awesome.
Lots of magnets, stickers, wristbands. This is the coolest one because we typically don't sign autographs. We did at the Neo Grammy party, but we don't. But we're gonna give you the first autographed copy of us.
Awesome.
And we've only printed up 10 of them because we want to keep the value on our signatures.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
definitely wanted to say thank you and say thank you for all your kind words, the conversations we had at school, because nobody knows what nobody's going through and what a kind word can be. And we spoke like adults. And there was a lot of that helped me help us out because I was smoking at the time. I was drinking a lot. And like Chef Frey and Chef Jones got a hold of me when they see me going too far. Now I'm not smoking. I don't drink. And the kind words helped to get us through everything that was going on. So thank you. And I want to say amazing job with your beautiful grown baby that's doing things in the world and thriving in the pandemic. And got to give much props to her. Just been amazing during this time as well.
Absolutely. You too.
Great job,
I'm so glad. Thank you. So glad to be able to touch bases with you, Roslyn.
Yes.
So glad to meet you in person, and
you too.
I wish you guys massive success. I know you're going to accomplish everything that you set your mind because you are dedicated and you're consistent. So much love to you.
Well, change it up. We're gonna make it.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Because have you ever looked at groups of people and celebrities and you're like, how did they become friends?
They were friends before.
And then they grew together. So it's going to be you, myself, Jasmine, Joe, Drea, Love and Spaz, all of us. Let's grow. And you know what? At this point, I'm going to say everybody stop arguing on Facebook and just love each other for a minute.
Right. I mean, really.
Let's show some love.
I mean, if this didn't show you anything, like the whole world almost died. That should put everything to perspective. Like,
definitely.
Stop it. Just stop it. I also want to tell you guys, if and when you decide to start an online community, I am taking an exam to become a certified community manager. I currently manage a community that I cannot divulge online right now. It's a huge one. I am awesome. So if you guys are looking for some community, I am your person. So keep that in mind.
Well, that's it. Then we're partners already. Let's do it.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. We truly appreciate you.
One more question. If people want to keep up with you, find your music, how do we stay in touch with you?
Chi-Chi and Brock St. James.com. And you'll be able
it'd be like we planned it up. We were like, hey, it's finally come in.
Everything, that page will take you everywhere. If you go to Chi-Chi and BrockSt.James.com, you can get to our SoundCloud from there, our YouTube pages from there. our Instagram from there. So that's the hub.
My tartar dressing for my joie de vivre company.
Awesome.
Food, entertainment, music, education is all on that page. And so you'll be able to hook up with us wherever you need to.
And as humbly as I can say this, I'm Googleable. You can Google Chi-Chi and Brock St. James. I'm Googleable, baby.
What is her name? What's the comedian's name? What's her name that says that?
Oh,
That says that. That says she's Googleable.
Oh.
Yeah, she said her dad would always tell her she's Googleable. Okay, I'll find her and I'll post it and let you know what her name is.
I will Google
so
that.
We didn't make it up.
We didn't make it up, but it still applies. Brock St. James out.
And what is your favorite Chi-Chi and Brock St. James song?
It's not out. We've never released it to anybody.
Oh.
It was a remix of the Partridge Family David Cassidy song.
Yes.
I woke up in love. I woke up in love with you.
Yeah.
That's the other thing people don't know is that it all actually is from we write our music to each other. Sometimes we throw things in of how we feel to the world, but everything has been to each other, and that was it. That was our song.
We'll have to redo that one.
But Walk in My Shoes is one for the world. And Walking on the World, the one we just did, is basically our first night of meeting. I didn't go out to clubs. She doesn't really go out. And we met that night on my birthday. And that's where Walking on the World is basically from. You can, like my dad always says, you catch the dreamer, you catch the dream.
Our favorite video, I think, our favorite video is actually this anime video for one of our songs. The song is Ain't Going Nowhere. Mm-hmm. And that's definitely our favorite video. We love that.
Did you just blush right now? She will not let me listen to that in front. Huh?
I said I'm going to have to bring that back to talk about love and relationships. Please. Oh,
definitely. We'll talk. I know we're taking up a lot of time. We'll definitely talk.
No, I just wanted to put that out there. I want to bring you guys back to talk about relationships and how to have clearly you guys have a great one.
Yeah, I mean, there's only room for one prima donna in a relationship, so we butt heads a lot.
That's very true.
But it makes for a kind of opposites attract situation in some ways. In some ways, we are opposites, but in some ways, we are a lot alike. Mm-hmm. And so that makes great collaboration. We do butt heads sometimes, but I think that really just adds more to our creative process. And I mean,
I'm the head butter. You can tell she's the loving one. In the classroom, I turn into a beast, but we'll definitely talk about it and everything and how she keeps me in control and helps guide me more than anything. Like our lives changed, especially mine. I'm going to say from my viewpoint after we met, because I decided to become a different person, a better person, take responsibility for myself, my actions, make sure that my surroundings, we had a party of 300 people. It was called a goodbye party. Well, I had a party of 300 people and everybody was saying, who's leaving? I said, all of you. And we said bye to them, gave them a party. Oh yeah, 300 people, bye.
Seriously?
They weren't a help to my life. I needed to go in a different direction and I needed to be positive. The ones that stuck around don't know about the party.
That is bold. I have never heard that before ever in my life. Did y'all?
And it was actually just a natural kind of progression because he had actually, I think it was right before we met when because he told me about this party and it was right before we met. And then I would say it's the same for me as well, that when we met, our lives really did change drastically. We made each other better. Mm-hmm. We enhanced each other's lives. We enriched each other's lives. And it's just really great to see where we have been able to go with one another, because we definitely wouldn't have been able to do it without each other.
Right. That's absolutely beautiful. Oh. Absolutely beautiful. So we're going to come back and talk about that in depth. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. This is awesome.
This is my season finale, and it was awesome. And I look forward to speaking to you again. And Merry Christmas if you celebrate Christmas. Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Happy holidays, and we appreciate you and everybody that we can't tell, but thank you everybody that watched and came out.
So if you guys have a few minutes,
Ramadan and winter solstice and everything.
Kwanzaa
And if you have my
and
number,
everything.
call me. Anybody that watching, if you ever have a problem, call me or message me. I will definitely be there all day or night to help anybody through problems. That's just, we got to help each other out. We'll talk.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Love
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.